What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We are here. Sense of Shock. Snipes.
Hello.
Glorious Reason. We're here doing this for Sense of Shock on your YouTubes. We haven't been together in a while, so it's great to be back. You can kind of see
Always.
the theme of the shirts, but, what's new?
Nothing a whole bunch. Trying to find new stuff to get my hands on and into with the gaming world, but we've been in a kind of slump of stuff, but holiday season's coming around, so we're getting there. A very big game coming in about 2 months that I cannot wait for. But I've been good. I can't really complain about too much. About yourself?
I'm quite well. I've been struggling with the Lego games. I mean, I've got the platinums on them. I think it's like 2016, 2018 that I respectfully played Lego Marvel Avengers and Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. And I had beaten the games, but then playing it on the PS5, even though it's a PS4 game, I'm like, I don't remember doing this. Why did I miss this? Why did I miss that? So, last week, captured the platinum for Lego Marvel Avengers, and then, this week, captured the platinum for Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, and now just kind of going back. Right now, I'm playing Sifu, going back through that. They add a lot of new stuff to it, which is pretty nice. Changing up difficulties, getting different powers as well, invincibility, carrying a weapon, things like that. So it's kind of nice because that game was highly difficult from the gate, right out the gate. But like you said, I'm waiting for these games to be coming out. I do have a game next month that I'm excited for, which is the sequel to Tales of the Borderlands. So I'll be streaming that on the Twitch. But, of course, we're just ready for that God of War. And that'll be we've got some things in the pipeline that we're going to talk about concerning Ragnarok. But right now, we're going to dive into your boy, Spider-Man. And he was definitely a contender for that Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man. Was for that Game of the Year in 2018. But, bowed out to the God of War because, fantastic game. But we can't turn a blind eye to Spider-Man. To be introduced to Peter Parker, to Otto Octavius, to see Miles, to dread Mary Jane. Never dreaded controlling a character in my entire life that I did doing those missions with Mary Jane.
It was pretty rough.
It was
rough.
I don't want to see that. And I was shocked she wasn't in Miles Morales, but it made sense because I thought in like that trailer when he's on the bridge and everything's destroyed and he's whipping around and he saves this girl that's whipping around and going around, and she had that hat like Mary J, but with the story of Miles Morales, she's in
somewhere
overseas,
a foreign country.
Yeah, with Peter, so made sense. I do like how this one is bringing Miles. Pretty much, he seems seasoned-esque from going through his own troubles and trials and triumphs and being his own Spider-Man, being himself, seeing them come together and being impressed by Peter Parker on what he's done to achieve this greatness, to become greater.
Be greater. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure anyone who's played 2018 or even Miles Morales is looking forward to it as well. I cannot wait. After God of War, it's probably the next game I'm looking forward to, unless something else gets announced later on. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to see more. Of course, we've just gotten that quick little reveal trailer. That's really about it, and that was last year, actually. Yeah, that was last year. So we haven't got anything new since, but hey, I'll take what I can get. That was enough. It was cool. Super excited to see what they're going to do with what we saw in the trailer, the reveal trailer, and what new things that weren't hinted at we might see too.
I feel like some things will stay the same because more things change, more things stay the same.
I mean, they have the formula. Don't break it.
Right. Please don't.
It ain't broke.
Please don't. And, are they going to make it co-op? Are they going to make it single player? Are they going to let you choose on which Spider-Man you want to choose to go through the adventure? Very intriguing. Things that I don't want to see is Mary Jane. I do not want to play her. I would like her to be like
We won't see Aunt May.
an NPC. Just like you won't see Uncle Ben. Yeah. You had enough time to have played this game. You had it on the PlayStation 4. It came out remastered on the PlayStation 5. It even came on PC, so you have a Steam Deck.
They've had 4 years.
That's well enough time. Well enough time. The spoiler alert's not even there. You just know. And if you haven't played the game, then you've watched the movie No Way Home. And, boom, dead. So, I think now is the accurate time for the game to come out. I would like it to be early half of next year. Yeah, early half of next year. Probably spring. It'd be crazy if it competes up against Legend of Zelda, but that's me. But I don't want to dream. I just want to just live in the time that we're in right now, and then you can give me the information. But with the Spider-Man, we have seen the trailer where you see the electricity of the sign pole, the signal pole.
I think it was like
pole.
the walk signal, the crosswalk thing, I think.
Yeah, and so you could tell that's Miles.
Mm-hmm. At first, I'm not going to lie, when they first showed it, I thought it might be a new
DLC?
Infamous. No, I thought it might be Infamous. Like, they might be bringing that,
yeah.
do something new with that, but...
Yeah, but that would be Sucker Punch.
True.
Yeah. So, they're like, we got Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, they're like, we got Ghost of Tsushima.
Nonetheless, I was more pleased.
Oh, please, yeah. With another Spider-Man, yeah. They're like, poof. And then you've got Spider-Man as well, or Peter Parker. And both individuals, Miles and Peter, both have their classic PlayStation garments that they're wearing. And then they tag team in Spider-Man webbing form, taking out some bad dude. And then the Shadows call. Get a glimpse of Venom. It's already been stated that Venom and Kraven the Hunter will be the main antagonist for your characters, your protagonists of Miles and Peter. I really don't want them to work together because it's Peter had, Venom, Eddie Brock, I don't know which Venom we're going to get, wants to go after Peter Parker. Kraven the Hunter would also want to go after Peter Parker. I think Miles is in trouble because of association. But I want to see more villains. Not more than the 2018, but I want to see... I want to see a good amount of villains. I don't want to be just focused on them too, because it's such a dark story that, they're wanting this to be Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars-esque story. And
no complaints out of me.
Right, because there will be destruction. I mean, there's only one person you could really take out that Venom or Kraven could take out if it's supposed to be like, oh no, and I wouldn't want her to die. But we'll see what happens. But what I don't want to see as well is I don't want some of the older people to come back. I don't want to see this
fresh faces.
Yeah, I want to see fresh faces, see what they can bring to the table. We don't need to see reoccurring villains to come back. Maybe if it's like a sidebar where you see it like NPC, I don't want it to be. I mean, they are NPCs, but I don't want a fight.
Or like a if Norman took the Green Goblin mantle.
Yes. Okay, so
we didn't really see that, and
right.
It was kind of being those foundations were being laid, built, and so we saw that could happen. So I'd be okay with seeing that, but no, I'm with you. I wouldn't want to see a Vulture come back or Electro,
or Shocker.
Absolutely.
A waste.
I wouldn't want to deal with Fisk again. Mm-hmm. If it's little smaller things, maybe like the Tombstone sort of deal, how he wasn't necessarily like a main antagonist, but he was in there and you kind of did like side missions. Mm-hmm. I'd probably be okay with that, but...
Don't want to see Hammerhead.
No!
That was weird. Silver Sable was great, but having him, I was like... it would have been nice if I was like Spider-Man Noir, and then it took it to that classic vibe, and then Peter wakes up, it's like, oh, that was just a dream, but you were playing as in a 1940s, 1950s type of style. But yeah, those are a couple of things that I don't. Is there anything that you don't want to see in this new Spider-Man 2? Only for the PlayStation 5, so once again, get your affairs in order.
They're getting easier to find, so...
Yeah, I've...
They're getting easier. You don't have to wait in digital queues so much anymore. So they're pretty... Maybe not readily available, but they're...
But you make a ways, you make a means.
Yeah. They're way more easily attainable than...
I think it's the funding that may be a little difficult for people right now.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think people that want it can have it. But let's say, Spider-Man 2, what are you not wanting to see in this game?
One thing, I know a lot of people want to see it. As of right now, I don't want to see it. And this is more of a game mechanic thing rather than something in the game. I don't want to see co-op. I think it would take away a little bit from what they've been doing. What they've already established with 2018 Spider-Man and then Miles Morales in 2020. I would be okay with, like kind of you had touched on earlier, where it trades off. Like maybe not even necessarily, all right, cool, for this mission, do you want to be Peter or do you want to be Miles? But like maybe have dedicated missions. Like, hey, this mission you're playing is this.
Yeah.
Or switch them off, like the opening of... Well, you didn't really switch off, but the opening of Miles, you were helping clear stuff out the way while Spider-Man was wrangling in Rhino, and then you switch, and then Miles is on Rhino, and Peter is getting stuff out the way. Maybe stuff like that, but in this one they could actually like switch it. Like, all right, cool, and your Miles doing this, now we need you to play as Peter and navigate things.
Yeah.
As of right now, though, I wouldn't want to see co-op.
Okay.
Just because going back into... They already have a formula that works.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, Spider-Man and Miles Morales both were fantastic games on their own. Miles Morales more of just kind of a little quick experience. Well, not necessarily experience, but it was a great experience. But it was still a game.
It pushed the PS5.
It was a nice taste of what's to come.
And it showed us ray tracing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just think it would be too drastic of a thing to do for Spider-Man 2. So I wouldn't want to see that. And maybe I would like to not see so many repetitive, like, side missions as far as, like, the crimes. Like, the crimes were always the same.
Okay.
You're either chasing a car or you're stopping a mugging or whatever.
George's being robbed.
Yeah. And I would probably not like to see so many just tedious activities, or I'm going to call them, like finding all those backpacks and finding all those things. Like, they're nice, it's fun, but just not as many, because the backpacks, there's like 60 backpacks. Yeah,
so they want you, mostly for the comics, is what's almost in every Spider-Man game you're supposed to collect. And that gives you a little bit of the knowledge of the comic books that actually are in the wild. To actually kind of see the covers, because you can't read the comics themselves, so you're just kind of seeing cover art for comics, and it gives it that connection to the Marvel, like, hey, this is a cool little Easter egg that we're kind of showing. I think those are cool. I can understand where it become monotonous, just like those Ravens and God of War. Just not necessary. Comes full circle. And then taking pictures, I really did not care for that. It's nice to see a lot of landmarks of New York, and then some fictitious stuff as well. But I don't need to take pictures.
Because then on top of just taking the pictures of the landmarks, then they had that one suit. You had to take like the 50, like the secret photos that you didn't know what they were unless you had that ability that helped you. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't care for the pictures either.
Now, unless you're giving them to J. Jonah Jameson.
No, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be pretty cool.
If you tie that in, I'll be down for that. But if there's no
like tied in as Peter working and while he's swinging around,
that would make sense. There would be a connection there. But of course, this is supposed to be an established Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But it's still weird because you're still home for a job because Otto's just like, we don't have any funding. Sorry.
And now I'm evil. So now we don't have a boss.
I lost my home. I lost my aunt.
I lost my boss.
I lost my boss. And pretty much kind of lost to Mary J. At times.
Yeah.
At times. Good relationship, though. And Stan Lee won't be in this one.
They could.
They could, but
Digitize
they'll probably
him
put
in
a statue of him because he was at the end of it as a statue.
Yeah.
I would like him to be in it because that was really cool.
Because I believe they did it in Miles Morales, I think. They had a statue of him.
Yeah, I had a statue, yeah.
I think out of the restaurant in the 2018 game.
Which is really cool. Yeah, so those are a couple of things that I know that I don't want to see, Snipes doesn't want to see. And there are just even more things that I love to see. I would like to see more things DualSense in this game. I would like the controller to really kind of pulse. Really horrible word, but pulse when you are getting a spider sense. Not all the time, but on certain events, you just feel it, and you're like, "Oh wow, I need to QTE a quick time event to get out of this snafu." I would like to hear certain things from Yuri, like over the intercom through your actual controller as well, so you know it's just nothing like really like elongated because those can be monotonous. But something that's going to just give you that heads up, like, okay, wow, I need to go over here to help this out, to solve this. Not too many crimes, but just enough to help out Yuri, because I felt like she was such a key role for Spider-Man in the 2018. As much as Miles just like, what's a Yuri? Like,
I got a Genki.
If it's not my dad, if it's not my dad, because he's dead, then I don't know really what to do. And Genki's like kind of, Miles's man in the chair. So I would like to see Yuri, Genki, Miles, Peter, I guess Mary J to be adding to it as well.
Just for cutscenes.
Yeah, just for cutscenes to kind of all come together to help.
No
out.
missions.
Yeah, no missions at all. I would like to see all that kind of come together, which would be something I'd like to see. Just them playing off each other, playing on words. I don't know if we'll get any Marvel superheroes that'll jump into this as well, since it's still New York. Doctor Strange or illustrious Wolverine. I would like to see just like a cameo, maybe, possibly, crossing paths, crossing streams, Ghostbusters.
It could be a nice setup for the
could be nice
the Wolverine game,
yes.
which I think they've said is coming out the following year.
Yeah.
Or no, I don't know if there is.
They just said coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, PS5 coming soon. So I'm really eager to see how that's going to be, and I'm eager to see what this collector's edition is going to be as well, because there's money that needs to be given, and it's in my soul.
And a controller.
Because
they did one for God of War, sure they'll do one for the Spoods. Maybe even
Will
two.
they announce controller first, or will they announce the collector's edition first?
Probably collector's edition. I mean, that's what they did with God of War.
Right.
But I could see them doing two controllers. Peter and a Miles?
Okay, hold up. Okay. Let's make it one. And let's split it in half.
Ooh, like the left side be like
the
red and blue,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, that. Yes. Yeah.
That would be good.
Ooh, one analog would be white and the other...
Oh, they could do that with the faceplates, too, for the PS5. Oh. Yeah.
Huh. Would love to see that, because that's straight
We should work for Sony.
Money. Yeah, but we get a lot of calls. This is why they come here.
Redacted.
We get a lot of calls, a lot of emails, and it's just we couldn't work.
That's fair.
We could, but if you want to hire us, Put it in the drop down below the comments. And then the collector's edition. I would like to see something over the top, because the 2018 had the statue and the various elements of each villain with Spider-Man on top of, like a heaping pile of bad guys. This one, I guess I would like to see another statue. And I would like it to have like a Venom blob kind of overshadowing like a Miles and Peter kind of back to back. Because they really can't do anything against a symbiote. Except whip. That's not going to work. So I'd like it just be an overbearing glob of like Venom. And speaking of Venom, is he going to be like Harry? Because he was in that tank. Is it going to be
initially, I think it could be Harry. I think it will be. Let me put it that way. I think initially it will be Harry. Because, of course, the in-credit scene from Spider-Man showed Norman open the little tank that he's in, that we walk straight past as Mary Jane. He opens that and you see Harry, and he's in the tank and whatnot, and he puts his hand on the glass and symbiote comes up to it, and then in an end scene from Miles, we see him talking to Kurt Connors, who we know turns out to be the lizard. So he could be somebody. But then, he tells Kurt to get him out now. Yeah. So I could see without really knowing what sort of repercussion the symbiote, whatever they're going to call it in this game, he's just like, get my son out. Like, I don't care if he ain't ready, get him out. And that takes hold of Harry. So I could see it being Harry first, but then I could see it maybe leaving Harry and possibly bringing in Eddie Brock, which is usually who we know to be Venom. I could see that, but I do think at least at first, if not in total, I think it'll be Harry. I'd be willing to almost say I can guarantee it would be Harry, but we'll find out.
Because he would be really good to be the good and bad that Peter's like, that's my friend, but I gotta take him out, and Mary Jane's just gonna be there.
So it'll add that emotional conflict as opposed to, because kind of the same thing with Doc Ock, how they did it in 2018. Like, Doc Ock's gonna be bad, but for the first relatively half of the game, you're kind of building that relationship with Otto, and you're working for him, and you're helping him try to come up with these nanobots or whatever they called them, to help nanotech to help other people that have physical disabilities, whether that be they lost an arm or a leg or something to make the quality of life better for those people. And you're like, man, I want to help this guy, he's my boss. And then you find out, he's got a neurological disorder, so we're trying to do this to help him too. And then it turns him evil, and so you get that emotional conflict. It's not just, okay, me, Peter, this bad guy, we fight. It's not like when you're fighting Vulture and Electro. You're not just like, all right, let me beat him up. It has that, your end goal is to beat him, but it's that emotional conflict of, this is my friend. So same thing with Harry. If he were to stay Venom, this is my childhood, my lifelong best friend, who I thought went to, vacation or whatever, boarding school, whatever it was, on his trip to Europe. Like, I haven't seen this guy in years. He's been my best friend. And then it turns out, nope, he's just been sick. And now he's covered in goop and wants to kill you. But you don't want to kill him or hurt him because he's your best friend. Yeah. So it would definitely add that different sort of take to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's well said. Well said. Yeah. Well said. Wow. Yeah. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. Anything you want to see in the controller collector's system
So
faceplates.
One thing I really want to see, because they did a really good job with it in 2018 Spider-Man. I wasn't too big of a fan of what they did with it in Miles Morales, but suits. I want to see some really cool suits. There's been some rumors. I would love to see them do a symbiote version of every suit in the game. You have your standard.
Oh wow! Oh
yes,
yeah,
you have your selection of suits you can choose from.
Yeah.
And then there's a symbiote version of every single one of them too.
A +1.
Yes, I think that would be really cool. Just add more into that.
Okay.
Playing into the Venom theme. But gameplay, mechanic wise, or anything like that, I missed out on the last collector's edition, so I don't know if there's necessarily anything I'm looking forward to in whatever they're gonna call the collector's edition this time.
I mean, this collector's edition was nice. I mean, I like the statue, but looking at it compared to, The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, definitely. It felt like they put so much time and effort in the God of War one that even though a different studio, the boxing looked nice, but the statue looked small. The art book was nice, well done, and then just the DLC content.
I think that was all I was really upset I missed out on. I got the DLC later,
right.
But I would, if they did do a statue, I know most of the things we already knew, but when the game came out, the statue did kind of have a spoiler element to it, because it did have the tentacles for Doc Ock, and even though we kind of figured it's probably going to be Doc Ock, we didn't know. But then, boom, you open your collector's edition, and you're like, oh, my statue! Why are there tentacles here? What is this about? Oh, it's Doc Ock.
Yeah.
So, maybe try to refrain from that? Maybe?
Yeah, spoilers, yeah. Just give us the goods, save the mystery after the fact. Because that's how it was with God of War. You didn't have everything up front.
You didn't have that nuke of a bomb they dropped at the end. But yeah. No, I'm super excited for it. I know they're going to do a really good job no matter what they do with it. They've got 2 other games under their belt for Spider-Man that says they know what they're doing. And from Spider-Man 2018 to Miles Morales, they already showed in that 2-year span, even though Miles Morales was shorter, they showed they improved on things.
Oh, yeah.
Took advantage of what the PS5 can do graphically, mechanically, game mechanics, things like that. They showed how they can improve it. So I would have no reason to doubt they're going to do that with another 2 years, or 3 years down the road, because 2023, with another 3 years down the road. I have no reason to doubt that they're going to do something really good, something that's really going to blow our minds. Insomniac is a good studio. Of course, they've done Ratchet and Clank as well.
Fantastic job on Rift Apart.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Another, which is probably a different team, but same dev company, but another really pushing the limits, showing what the PS5 can do. Especially when they solely dedicate, because Rift Apart didn't come on the PS4. So they put
it was too powerful.
Yeah, so they put all their resources and time for development only into the PS5. Of course, Miles Morales came on both. Like you said earlier, they've already said Spider-Man 2 is only for the PS5. So with already being able to improve on what they did from 2018 in just 2 years, now they've got 3 years, and they're solely focused on doing it for one console. Yeah. They don't have to, can we do this, but we can't do too much because we have to make sure it works on here too, on the previous gen. So I'm excited to see, just purely dedicated for PS5. It's gonna be exciting.
Oh, it's gonna be exciting. Like,
super exciting.
Like I mean, I would like, at least towards the end, because I don't want it to be like in the middle of it, unless you just have to have a third person to help you. But I would like to see Gwen Stacy. I would like to see Spider-Gwen at the end of it. So therefore, they could be like, "Hey, Spider-Man 3, you'll have 3 Spider people, Spider persons.
Bring in Spider-Ham."
Which he could be, your one of your costumes. He could be one of your costumes. How well he goes over. I don't think anybody expect him to go over that big, but Spider-Ham has done a great job by causing hilarity and being a prominent role in Into the Spider-Verse, which would connect that movie with the game, which is kind of what I would like to see, because they had the Spider-Man 2018 suit in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, which I lost my mind because they just had all kinds of suits, and I was just picking through and looking in the theater, just like, oh my gosh.
And then they put the Spider-Verse suit in Miles Morales.
Yeah.
So they've definitely got that intertwining there.
Which I'm definitely down for.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's what I would like to see. And like you were going back to Ratchet and Clank, just going through different universes, the power of the PS5, going to that one universe with Club Nefarious and just your controller pulsating. If you're looking at it and facing one direction, pulsate on one side, and then face the other way, pulsate on the other side. That was mind blowing. Because I mean, like I said, when I streamed it, just like being in a club right before you can hear that bass just pumping everything, so it gave you that vibe to it, and I was like, oh wow, this isn't just something like, we'll just throw that in. Like, I felt like that's research and putting that love and care into the game. I expect the love and care to be put into the Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
we've had some games, Ratchet and Clank. I think Returnal was only for PS5. Mm-hmm. We've had some games that were only on PS5. Demon Souls, the remake. But I don't know. For me personally, I'm really viewing Spider-Man 2 as like the first true like PS5 exclusive. Like, Ratchet and Clank was fun. It was a quick little game, and it was fun. It was only for PS5, but I still don't think it tapped into the full potential of the PS5 console. I think Spider-Man 2 will be able to. So we've had some that have been only for the PS5, but Spider-Man 2 is where I'm really looking to like see what exactly all I can get out of this console, and then going forward.
Okay. So relatively something that's been announced, that's already stating that it's only for the PS5, so therefore it looks like that party or that team will concentrate solely on the PS5 instead of trying to cater to PS4 as well. Makes sense. Because we don't have any other announcements or any other game that's solely for, this generation of the PlayStation 5. Yeah. Everything's been kind of like Horizon Forbidden West is on both. God of War is on. Ragnarok is on both. So we don't have anything strictly for. I mean, Gran Turismo is on both as well. So nothing's been slated except for Spider-Man 2 and of course Wolverine as well.
I think as far as PlayStation Studios wise, I think Ragnarok will be
the end all, be all, end
the
all.
last making it for both.
Yeah.
Just because it's, I have no problems, with them still making stuff for the PS4 because not everybody has a PS5. They have been hard to get, but we're coming up on 2 years now, and I think it's just natural life cycle. I think it's about that time where they really shift that focus. Like, all right, cool, we have this amazing technology here, and we're just not putting all of our time and resources into it. Yes, I still want everyone to have a nice gaming experience, but I also want to see what all I can get out of this piece of technology I have right here.
Because we're already charging a premium price for the games. Mm-hmm. So why should we give people an inferior version of the game when they can really explore and enjoy it at a... it's going to be better price for them, but it's going to be a better experience for us, and that's what we really want. Because if you are playing at that top tier, then you don't have much to complain about. But if you are buying the lower tier, like the PS4 one, then it's like, oh man, the graphics are horrible, and there's lag, and it's this. You won't really be able to say that with the PS5. So yeah, I would expect them to do that. I don't know about the Street Fighter 6 though. Like, I want to say that one's on both. I'm not sure. They announced a lot of stuff at like, there's so many. I mean, y'all know.
Y'all see it.
Y'all see the things that they announce in Assassin's Creeds and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But it's time to move on because the PlayStation 4 had such a great life, and they were just bangers.
Going on 9 years.
Yeah, it reminds me of the PS2. And they were like, "Hey, PS3's out." Yeah, but there's like PS2 games, like it's NHL game.
Because the average lifespan for a console is 7 years. So PS4 has definitely had its great times and great games on the PS4. Yeah. There's so many games I love for the PS4, but I think it's just, I mean, technology advances so much every day. And I think it's that time, really start tapping into that true potential that the PS5 can have. So, yeah, I look, not to look forward to, I look for Ragnarok being the last PlayStation studio. PlayStation, I still think other games, most of your other games, but as far as PlayStation studios, the studios they own and make their exclusives for, I think Ragnarok will be the last dual gen exclusive first party game.
Makes sense. Because they've just been hush-hush on everything else, really. Insomniac's been very forward in at least their 2 games about Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. Sucker Punch has been quiet for Ghost of Tsushima. They're like, we ain't telling y'all Nathan. We ain't giving y'all time or day when Ghost of Tsushima 2 is being announced. Like you said, with God of War, Santa Monica Studios, Bungie is part of the PlayStation family. And the list goes on and on about games that are supposed to be coming out, but being very hush-hush. And I felt like during their first PlayStation showcase, September of 2020, I believe just about everything has come out, except for the Forspoken and Final Fantasy 16 are the only things that really haven't come out that's been showcased at that event. And like you said, it's been 2 years. So everything should have, if not should be out, or giving us a date at least to let us know it's coming out. Because now we have more things that we're looking forward to, and we're just greedy. We just want more. We want more. Keep us satiated.
Yes.
But yeah, so what do you guys expect? What do you want to see? This is just, our ideas, our theories, what could be, what needs to be. But if it doesn't happen, then we're not going to be mad. We'll play the experience. We'll enjoy the gameplay, and then, we'll let it be a blockbuster like it should be. Other than that, any lasting words to peeps?
Thank you for watching. We're so excited to be back together again. We're trying to get together as much as we can, bring as much stuff to you as we can. We thank you for being there with us. Tell your friends, share this video, like, subscribe. Put in the comments, are you excited for Spider-Man 2? Like Greg said, what do you want to see? If you are excited for the game, what do you hope is in there, not hope's in there? And just stick with us on this journey. Of course, we'll update you more the more we find out.
The more you'll find out.
The more you find out, absolutely.
The more we find out, the more you'll find out.
And if you know something that we haven't said, put it down there. We always love to know more about these things. We're always looking for more information. So
knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
But yeah, if anything, catch me on the Twitch streams. That's Glorious Reason. Got some fun action happening over there. And
I'm on there every now and then.
Yeah.
Now, so
because he's got some Call of Duty. He's got some Call of Duty that he needs to.
Well, I'm on your stream.
Oh, you can be on my stream. I'm just saying, if you want to show them your Call of Duty feeds.
Actually, I'm on yours every
now.
Yeah,
you are.
I've been on a couple times.
Yeah, it's been fun. We did some wrestling stuff. You should check that out. Until then, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, show your love. 'Tis the season for gaming. We'll see you when you see you. Peace.